And we are live. What is up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Thursday night. It is 5 o'clock in Lakewood Ranch. Normally, I would say it's a beautiful day here in Lakewood Ranch, but it is not a beautiful day here in Lakewood Ranch. It is cold. We're going to talk about the weather. It is raining, and I have a space heater by my feet. Yes, I do. And we have the heat on in the house up to like 70, which is insane. But I appreciate you guys joining me. Super excited. I have a fantastic guest, a local another real estate agent from Florida, but we're going to start off as we do. And quite honestly, I'm a little surprised and happily pleased that a lot of our viewers who are like, I like this guy. He's talking about real estate a little bit, but he's also talking about bourbon. I just bought this week. This is actually whiskey, Japanese whiskey, Tenjaku. The interesting thing about Japanese whiskey is I know nothing about it. I have like a one bottle that you can find, Suntory. And as much Japanese food as I eat, my wife is half Japanese, and as much sushi as we eat, I almost can never find a bartender who can tell me anything about Japanese whiskey. So a lot of time it is just taking a chance and buying a bottle. So this one I saw the other day. I had never seen it before. I don't know anything about it. The description was rather vague. The guy at the store had no idea about any of it. He goes, no, I don't even drink whiskey. So cheers. Happy Thursday. Happy 5 o'clock somewhere. If you have a drink, cheers me. Doesn't need to be alcoholic. Could be beer, could be wine, could be iced tea, could be green juice. The reason I started doing bourbon was because all my real estate friends were drinking green juice on their live streams and drinking coffee and iced coffee, and that was a bunch of crap to me. So I did try this the other day. Wow, so good. Tenjaku. So I have some notes right from their website. I thought I'd share it because here's what I'm impressed with. A lot of you people watching, thank you, are interested in learning about some bourbon. So yes, of course, I can help you with real estate, but we're going to learn about bourbon. Here's what I know about bourbon, though. It's kind of like wine. I heard this 25, 30 years ago. There's only 4 kinds of wines in the world. Red wine, white wine, the kind you like, the kind you don't. I kind of feel the same way about bourbon. So I'm going to read you some notes. If you find this, I think it's worth getting. It is Japanese whiskey. It is 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof. Now, I know enough about whiskey to know that 80 proof is like on the absolute low end of what bourbon drinkers, bourbon connoisseurs, people who know about bourbon. I saw a bottle today that was like 128 proof. I was like, no way. I personally don't love the burn. I know as a connoisseur, you kind of want that burn. We're not going to talk about that one too. But this one I kind of like. And the description from the website says it all. It was created to be pure, mellow, suitable for any drinking style. So that's why I really like it. It's smooth like butter. And it can be enjoyed, obviously, on the rocks or mixed into cocktails. We'll talk about mixed cocktails, too, because my wife and I, 2 nights ago on date night, decided we were going to do mixed cocktails. That was fun, kind of trademark our own drink. But here's what I thought was cool about this whiskey. The essence of Tenjaku whiskey lies in its natural ingredients, especially the water, because the water is spring water that is drawn from 250 meters below the surface of Misaka mountain range. I think I pronounced that right. The water is filtered through volcanic rock, enhancing its smooth texture and mineral content. I kind of like it because it's a little smoky and definitely sweet. It says a little pear and a little dried fruit. I don't know if I taste a little pear and a little dried fruit. I see my camera snapping. You guys see that too? It's just on my end. But I like it because it's not really spicy, which is like, so it is winter time. You guys have a winter beverage? Love to hear. Drop the comment down below. And I guess without further ado, I'd like to bring in my friend and fellow YouTuber and real estate agent, Palm Beaches Paul. Come on into the stage.
Hey, what's up?
What is happening? Do you see that flashing on my
Yeah, it is doing a little twitch. I'm not sure. Was that
I don't know what that is. I'm looking at my
I used a regular, like old school sort of
no, it's like I just bought it not too long ago. I've been having technical issues. I was on a Zoom call this morning, my microphone wasn't working. It's weird. My microphone works on StreamYard.
Yeah.
The camera works on Zoom. Yeah, I appreciate you you joining us. You are officially Palm Beaches Paul of Palm Beaches.
Yeah, down in the opposite coast of you over here, and still, as you see, I got a sweater on. It was And everyone watching up north, you laugh at us, but for us Floridians, I mean, I've been here 30 plus years, so I'm about as Floridian as I'm going to get. Originally from Texas, it's cold. It was like,
nice. Oh yeah, you're from Texas too, but I saw Texas got snow.
So yeah, my buddy's a realtor in Houston, and they got like 4 or 5 inches. He was loving it. So, and the coolest thing I saw, well, I'm sure we'll get into this, was I saw that "Welcome to Florida" sign, and it was covered in snow on the Panhandle.
Snow. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So have you always been in Palm Beach when you came to Florida?
Yeah, I moved here 30 years ago to Palm Beach County, lived in West Palm Beach, moved around a couple different little towns in the area. They all kind of blend together. Boynton Beach, Delray Beach. So and we're presently now actually, technically it's Lake Worth, but I call it West Boynton Beach because we're like right on the edge. So if I cross the street, I'm in Boynton Beach. It's kind of weird. But yeah, lived here going on since I moved here in 92. My first moved here. I moved here right from Texas. We had tornadoes and we do get hurricanes. I moved here, and then that summer Andrew hit. And I'm like, what am I doing? My family was like, what are you doing? Come back to Texas. I said, nah, it hit Miami. It's fine. Didn't even bother us in West Palm. So, we were fortunate. And
you get tornadoes. Don't you have hail in Texas?
Oh yeah, man. They get bad hailstorms. I remember driving down through San Antonio through Loop 410, and I just missed a tornado and didn't realize it until I got home and saw the news. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I was young. I was driving home at coming home, probably went out party the night before, driving home at like 5 or 6 in the morning, just bloodshot eyes. And I drove there. I said, man, it's really windy out. It was like, and I saw the storm went right across the highway and hit a building. I was like, oh, I'm glad that wasn't me. So,
gotta go.
But yeah.
What brought you to Palm Beach?
Ex-wife.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, ex-wife.
Funny how that works.
She was from here and met in Texas and came down here, and then didn't work out, but had a kid. And I was like, well, you have a kid, you have a choice. You can be here and be in his life, or you can go to Texas and see him every summer. And I'm like, yeah, that ain't me. So I stayed here and did the best I could, and then enjoyed it, and then was blessed enough to meet another beautiful young lady. And that was 22 something years ago. And so we got 2 boys, and my youngest is going to college next year, so I'm going to be an empty nester. Woo, party! Just
nice.
And
a real estate agent. If I know a good real estate agent who can help you downsize if you need to.
Yeah, travel agent's what I need. That's
travel agent. Yeah,
I plan to travel. That's my big goal, is to get out and see more of the world while I'm still young enough to enjoy it and not have to be on a senior cruise. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, so, I hear you.
We're on senior cruises, but I'm not ready for that yet.
We looked into doing a cruise this year. Still might.
Yeah, they're fun. You get the right one. Some of them are a little crazy, but I was looking at I want to really do one of those cruises in Germany and go on one of those Viking cruises or something where they go up the Rhine, or you go up to one of the rivers there and you kind of get out. And they really, particularly, I'd like to do one during Christmas time, because they do a tour and you get to stop at like 7 different Christmas villages, and they do it, which is super cool. And so you just eat and drink and hang out and do whatever. And then you go to the villages and see all that. So little bucket list items, things that maybe one day we can not be here for Christmas, but that might be a long way, because
that's a tough one.
Yeah, well, you got to be around for family, and then pretty soon, at some point, the oldest kid's probably going to get married, and then grandkids, and there's no way the wife's going to go to Germany if there's grandkids, and so. But whatever, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I hear you. I know the feeling. Like, the story. I mean, we were in Hawaii, which you basically miss every holiday, because you got to kind of pick and choose when you travel, and it's Christmas, or it's Thanksgiving, or it's a real estate conference.
Yeah, that's I posted about being on your show today, and then one of the guys was curious to what brought you to Florida from Hawaii, and I
don't know if you know the story. So we lived in this area. Yeah, we lived in this area for about 11 years.
Okay.
Before moving to Maui, and I've moved to Maui 2 separate times. First time without my current wife, second time with my wife. So a little over, now it's 6 years, because it was just exactly a year that we moved back. And so the big question is, did you move back because of the fires? We did not move back because of the fires. We moved back right after the fires, but we knew before that we were moving back. We moved there with 2 big dogs. 2 big older dogs, so we knew that we could not fly them back home to Florida. And we put them both down like within a year of each other before moving. So that was kind of the trigger.
Yeah.
And then the fire happened and the real estate market just completely pummeled. And but just what we were talking about, my whole family's here. My mom, my dad, my sister had gotten married, and she and my brother-in-law moved back to Florida, like closer to my parents, and his family is here, and my wife's family is on the East Coast. And it's just one of those things that pulls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's long. I mean, that's, I can't even imagine flying to Hawaii. Like, I'm not a big flyer. I mean, we flew to Spain 2 years ago, and thank God it was at night because I barely slept on the planes. I'm not one of those that can sleep. And of course, it wasn't first class, business class. It's just regular. So you're just scrunched in there. So I can't imagine flying from Florida to Hawaii. I'm like, yeah, that's like to the end of the world.
12, it's 12 hours. And we've done, it's interesting because I'm sure you know this being in real estate, it seems like a lot of the conferences nowadays are in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because it's just central. So we were able to fly from Maui directly to Dallas.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Which is brutal. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of a lose-lose, right? You can fly to the West Coast and 5 hours and then 3 hours flights to Texas, or you can just do an 8-hour flight and cut it in half.
Yeah, that once you leave that California coastline, you think, oh, it's just a short hop. And like, no, Hawaii's like 3,000 miles or something crazy like that. Or,
yeah, it's another.
I mean, it's far. It's really far. Oh, you don't realize how far away it is. It's so weird to think that it's part of the United States, but it's like so far out there.
Far, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we've never been been that way. I've only flown the other way, flown east. So going from to Spain, and that was pretty cool. So but
Spain. I went to Spain by myself because the friend I was going to go with bailed at the last minute, and I was like, I'm still going.
Oh man, I love Spain. Yeah. Spain was incredible. We had such a good time in Barcelona, and Madrid was incredible and stuff. So, but I saw you had your whiskey. I'm more of a beer guy, so
yeah. What do you have?
I've been holding on to this little stout. Let's see if I can get this up there. So it's a strawberry brulee, and it's a flavored stout. 6% ABV. Let me see. What does it say? It says a stout conditioned on maple, coffee, and strawberries. So it's got a little sweetness to it. It's got the nice coffee and the maple, which I like. It's dark, which it goes. It's a winter day in Florida. So cheers. So cheers to 2025.
Yes.
I'm glad to be a guest on here, and yeah, man, been following you, and we've been making videos together for a while, and same circles. So we all are out there doing the YouTube thing and building our business through it. And it's a lot of fun, and we make some good videos and meet some interesting people.
Yeah, that is true. I just saw today that Christina Smallhorn is going to be speaking at Rev B, which is Real Estate Video Blueprint in Texas.
Right.
And we're going to go to that. That's to be our third one.
I've never gone.
Yeah, I honestly, we go to a bunch of real estate events. We didn't on Maui because we had to pick and choose.
Right.
But we go to a bunch, and this honestly is really one of my. I go to Vid Summit too. That's one of my favorites. But
yeah, I
gotta like
I have to hook up with you on that because I want to go this year. I've missed it every year, and I really wanted to go, and then I missed it, and I know it could help my business, so I need to go check it out. But San Antonio is
Vid Summit. Yeah, Vid Summit is a really phenomenal one because it's obviously everybody who's somebody in the YouTube world. It's not really a fan fest. It's put on by Mr. Beast. It's put on by Daryl Eves, who wrote the YouTube formula. I always kind of joke that I think Daryl Eves knows more about YouTube than YouTube knows about YouTube.
Yeah, amazing. It's a business conference. It's for those of us who are trying to make a business out of our channel.
Correct.
And that's what we do. So it's not, no one's going there to be like, hey, it's Palm Beach Paul, I want your autographs. Like, no.
Yeah, no. I'm sure there are people who do that, but I do remember, and I can't remember the girl's name. There's like some young girl now who's like just super hot on you, not hot looking, but hot on YouTube. She's been blowing up, and I was just random guy talking to me, and he was like so nervous that he saw her and talked to her. I was like,
that's funny.
You're so cute.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to look into. I know it's coming up pretty quick. It's coming up in April, right?
Yeah, and it's in San Antonio, which. Yeah, like I said, we go to a lot of conferences in Texas. San Antonio is gorgeous.
Oh, you'll love it. I just came back there from family reunion. That's where I'm from. That's where I grew up in San Antonio.
I got out of here. Yeah, we've been there once before for Rev B, and it is stunningly gorgeous.
Yeah. It's funny. They're going back to San Antonio, and Tim goes all the way over to Connecticut.
Oh, interesting.
It's right. Isn't that where you went to? Somewhere up there? Tim Macy?
I think so. Yeah.
Somewhere. Anyway, cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So I'm super excited. And so speaking of weather, I want to share my screen real quick because I want to talk about the weather. I know you have a sweater on. I have a long sleeve shirt on. That really doesn't paint the picture of what is happening here in Florida. And I said this a little earlier. I don't know if you heard it, but I literally have a space heater by my feet because I am so cold. We have the heater on in the house. It's ridiculous. And Florida got snow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like almost 8 inches of snow. And 34,000 people were 9.8 inches of snow fell.
That is amazing, man. Nobody. And I have a friend that moved to Milton. That's so funny. One of my buddies from Texas, who I met when I was 27 years old, and then he ended up living in Paraguay for years, doing ministry work. He was a country singer. Got out of that, went to the church, and did a lot of time there. Now he moved to Milton. And I'm just like, hey, man, how's the snow?
Now I know you're a little further south, but this is our forecast for today. Currently 49. It says 11% chance of rain, but it's been raining all day today.
Yeah, it's been wet
all day.
If it was 40 degrees colder out, I would be looking at snow in my backyard. It's the perfect conditions for it. The gray clouds, everything you see when it snows, the light drizzle. It's not like raining. It's just sort of that like misting rain coming down, which is, if it was cold enough, it'd freeze. It'd turn to snow. It's like, I've been in snow in places when it does that. I was like, as I'm driving, it's like a tease. It's like, oh, come on. I was like, dude, it's
just a little.
It's not even close to 30.
No, what's the temperature near you?
It was 50. It was about 58 degrees when I was out. That's why I had the sweater on, because I was over by the ocean and it was windy. And you know, anyone watching from up north laughing at us, or be like, guys, you have to realize you live in Florida for so long, you get acclimated to the heat, and it doesn't get cold. So anything below 70 is great, and then below 60, it's like, ooh, let's put a jacket on. So we're not used to it.
And our houses are not insulated, so
it's tile floors and stuff like that.
Tile floors.
And then no one uses their heater in South Florida, so the minute you turn it on, it's all the coils that have dust on it. It smells the whole house up. I did it one year and I set the fire alarm off, like that smoke detector, and I had to air the whole house out. And then I left the windows open because the whole house stunk. So then it got really cold in here. But then again, the same people that were like, you guys can't take the cold. It's like they come down in July and they're like, oh, I'm dying. It's like, dude, it's hot. It's humidity. You're not going to die. Oh my God, this is oppressive heat. I can't live. It's like, so not that I enjoy the heat, but I can deal with this. I've been here for 30 plus years, and I know, like, I'm enjoying this cool weather break. Even if it's gray out, I'm enjoying it. So
I am personally not. Like 69 degrees is like my max.
Yeah. So,
because I know here's what I love about Florida. Are you ready for this? Let me show you the 10-day forecast. 10 days. Look at that. 57, 65, 73 by a week. Next week, we're in the upper 70s.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Get back to the beach.
Now in the 80s.
So we'll be back at the beach.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, back at the beach. So
nice.
Yeah, that's what's happening with the weather here in Florida. Yes, we are wimps. And that's why I start drinking whiskey. It's interesting. I drink beer in the summertime, whiskey in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know if you heard me earlier. So my wife and I are committed to doing date night this year, every Tuesday.
Oh.
And we're trying to mix things up, and not go out to dinner every single Tuesday because that just gets to be expensive. So, we cook dinner at home, but we also tried to make our own drinks. So, we're back in Florida. It's been rough, right? We'll talk about 2024. It was just a brutal year for real estate. We're reestablishing ourselves. We both miss Maui. We just passed our 1-year anniversary of moving back. So we built a bar in the house, which was awesome.
Nice.
So now we're both trying to kind of like trademark like a drink. Like, so if you come over, we're gonna be like, hey, Paul, here's our menu. Pick something out. So I've been playing around. We've both been playing around on ChatGPT and AI to come up with a drink. So I came up with like a smoke old fashioned. It had like chocolate bitters, some pineapple in it. It was okay. My wife came up with a pretty good one with some sake. Yeah, so that was kind of fun, kind of trade market drinks. I have a couple other ones in the pipeline that I'm going to play around with.
There you go. That's
but
fun.
I'll invite you over when it happens.
Sounds good. Yeah, the wife brought home one of those jars. We're supposed to do date night, but we keep getting busy, so we need to figure time to do date night. So, but
you got to add it to your calendar, man. I made it. We both made excuses.
Yeah, because the kid's 18 and he's hanging out with a girlfriend and friends, so it's really just her and I. So, but it's important to keep that going.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, well, good
We're
deal,
trying to
man.
find some things that are not too expensive. Like we went out to dinner. We're like, oh, that was a lot of money. We went to a little wine tasting place. We're like, oh, it's gonna be great. The hors d'oeuvres are really cheap. But then of course you try it and you're like, oh, I'm gonna leave with a bottle. Oh yeah, I'm gonna leave with a bottle. And next thing you know, like you're inexpensive.
You gotta go where you're like, you gotta go either listen to music for free somewhere where the drinks are cheap, or go somewhere you can walk around and enjoy, get out, fun different stuff. There's a lot you got to get out. There's things to do. There's always something going on in Florida, especially in the winter time. There's so many events
to do.
And it's a great time. That's why so many people come down here from the Northeast, because it's great. There's a million things going on: outdoor concerts, art shows, you name it. It's
all year round too. Maybe not when it's raining, but
cold weather's not so much the summer as it's hot, but there's still events. There's a lot of food events in the summer, crab cook-offs, seafood cook-offs. They have those type of events, a lot of art shows and different things. So to keep people, because other than the rain, most of the time it's sunny and just sunny outside. So, but thunderstorms come and go, blow through. Like they say, wait 15 minutes and the weather will change.
That's exactly. Florida weather. About Florida. So I'm trying to tie in. I had this interesting conversation last weekend. I had Malcolm Lawson on. He knows a lot about YouTube too. So I was kind of talking to him about what I'm looking to do on YouTube this year. So it's cool to have you on, because I know you know a lot about YouTube. So I'm trying to tie in kind of my lifestyle activities, which I think that there is a tribe for, because it's one of the reasons that people move to Florida, not necessarily for, the bourbon, but I know there's bourbon lovers who like to come down to Florida, but trying to tie in like cooking outdoors. So I'm doing some videos like at my grill, not necessarily about cooking per se, or about like you buy a house in Florida that comes with a lanai that you can cook on.
Yeah. Summer kitchens are a hot item in Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not called the Sunshine State for no reason. I mean, it's a little crazy weather, but it is, there's lots of sunshine, lots of good days. Grilling is a huge part of the South Florida lifestyle. And there's so many homes that I've shown that have those summer kitchens that people, I mean, that's where people live. They're, they got the swimming pool right there. They got the grill, a mini fridge, TV. You've got the baseball games on. It's a great way to live, especially
for sure.
And if you're on the water, you got a dock right there for the boat. Bring in the fresh mahi. I'm going fishing. Actually, it's going to be cold, but we're going this Saturday. The three of us chartered boat, and we're going offshore because the dolphin and sailfish are running. So we're hoping to catch. I'll just have to layer up, but I'll never pass up a fishing trip, man. I'm a water boy. I love being on the water. So
same. Yeah, that's why I've lived California twice, Florida twice, actually Florida 3 times, Hawaii twice. Got to be near the water.
Why, man? That must be cool. So it's always an interesting. People like patios are a big thing. People will pick homes and they want that lifestyle. So is it screened in, versus non-screened in? Does it have a cabana bath? Because that's a big item for homes. Have a bathroom that leads outside to the pool, so they don't come tracking through the whole house and slipping and sliding on the tile or getting the carpet wet. Which not too many people have carpet anymore in Florida, but at least not in the living areas, maybe in the bedroom. But those are all big sort of items that are popular wants for buyers in South Florida.
Yeah, so that I'm trying to change things up a little bit. So I'm still having conversations about real estate, particularly kind of like you do, kind of like local content, Lakewood Ranch, Sarasota. But I'm kind of trying to tie it into like a lifestyle activity. Now I don't have one of those phenomenal outdoor spaces, but it's still the conversation. So I don't know. I asked Malcolm this. What's kind of your thought on kind of tying in the lifestyle activity to educational videos?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, my whole premise of building my channel was not doing home tours. It was lifestyle. It was, let me show you what it's like to live here. Look, if you're coming from Hawaii, what's Florida like? Well, let me show you. Let me show you some of the beaches that I've enjoyed with my wife. no, we don't have the same waves as you in Hawaii, so you're going to be disappointed there. But we do have some waves, so you know they're not going to barrel you and stuff, but then they're not going to kill you either. So like Jaws or wherever the big ones over there, and
Yeah,
Hawaii.
right.
But you get the point to talk to them about the beaches and the restaurants and sort of showing that lifestyle. That's kind of like what the video I'm shooting tomorrow is going to be. I'm going to go down to this city that I haven't done a video about. It's just south of Palm Beach County. It's the next county over, and just south of Boca. But it's got good buys. The homes in there are a little less expensive. So if you like the Boca restaurants and the Boca Mall, which is like a really nice upscale mall, if you like all that, but your budget doesn't qualify for it, then I show them an area that is just south of that, but it still has a great beach. It's got a fishing pier that's a really long fishing pier. It's got some cool little waterfront restaurants, and I pitch all that kind of lifestyle and show all that so they sort of get an idea. And then I've done things with like beer, like stop in and hey, I'm having a beer, or I'll stop in a place that has donuts and coffee. I like promoting local places. So you doing the grilling, that's still you're tying into the lifestyle. Like, hey, Florida's great. We can grill year round. In the summer it's a little hot, in the winter it's perfect. But yeah, so I think people like those kind of videos as opposed to just real estate talk. Like, people want to.
Yep.
There's enough channels for people to come to you and get what they want to know. Like attracting your audience. Like I've done the home tours, and you get some people that like the home tours. It gives them a sense of what new homes cost and what's out there. But really, the most time I've had with the leads that I've got from people are like, I go, what did you like about my channel? They go, we liked it when you showed what living in Palm Beach County was like.
Yeah, there you go.
They came from Pennsylvania, and they go, we liked your park videos where you showed the parks. Like, we love that because that's what we enjoy. And I was like, oh, cool, thanks. So I showed them, I did a lot of nature trail videos where we used to take our kids when they're little. And then I went and said, hey, this is a great place. If you like to walk through nature, if you got little ones, this is a cool place to come check out, and it's free. So those things resonated with a lot of my viewers.
Yeah, I watch your channel. I watch your channel. I like your channel. I like channels like that because it's more lifestyle focused and not specifically like education. It's kind of educational about Palm Beach, but it's not so, I want to say salesy, real estatey.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and talk about what an FHA loan is, right? Because like you already know that. You already probably know, or you spoke to someone, and my audience is mostly 55 to 65. That's the majority of my audience.
Okay, yep, same here.
So they've bought a house. They know about these things. So they don't need to be talked to like a first-time home buyer. So, but they do want to know, if I buy in this community, what's nearby? Is my wife going to enjoy living here, right? Happy wife, happy life. Is there a good shopping center nearby? Is this convenient? Is there a golf course nearby for me? Those kind of things matter to people. I'm trying to focus on water a lot because I have friends with boats. And so I'm trying to focus a little bit on that, which is new for me. So I'm trying to focus a little bit on the lifestyle, like waterfront living.
Yep. And are you doing everything, what's the word, like on site?
Yeah. I don't have, as you see behind me, I don't really have a studio. Maybe the next place we get, I've got a hodgepodge of my family stuff. This is my little corner of the house. Wife lets me do what I want. So I've got my UT sign back there that my brother sent me, and I got my an old fisherman. Has his best catch here, you can see, and then I got my little bar sign over there, and this is my little bar area, and I got my work. So I don't really do videos sitting at my table because I don't have a good background. I really don't like green screens. A lot of people said they're iffy. You can use them, but I know some people do very well with them, but I just don't. I enjoy going out and filming on site outside, which takes time. Yeah. And with the elements, like tomorrow isn't always the best. And in the summer I get, get rained out. I'm like, oh, what am I going to do now? But I just feel, I think people like it because they see it. And even when you're just walking around my walking and talking videos, I would just walk through a city and the people still get to see it. And I've had a lot of people go, oh man, I grew up there in the 70s. My God, West Palm has changed so much. Like, that's awesome. So I had some people that were going to come down from Canada, but the kids decided to wait till next year to buy. I'm like, okay. But the parents saw my video of me riding bikes through a neighborhood and they go, hey, that's kind of cool. Can you take us to that neighborhood? But now they're going to wait. The kids want to wait a year. So maybe in a year they'll do it. So yeah, I do a lot of outside content, which isn't always the easiest with cars going by and planes flying overhead or lawnmower. and stuff, but it just works for me. It just takes a little more time.
Yeah, I did an entire video because my videos on Maui were all on site. I almost did.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah,
I love your stuff out there, man. It was amazing.
Excluding, the live stream, everything was out. Then afterwards I did an entire video on leaf blowers, because doesn't matter where I was, didn't matter what day it was, didn't matter what time it was. There was always a leaf blower guy. And it was interesting when I first started to do the videos on site. I used to always be like, tisking and got to edit that, got to stop doing that. I finally just stopped. I was like, okay, people behind me, fine. People popping their head in, fine. Not editing any of that out. It's all going to be in there.
My joke is, I'll be like on a bridge, and I go, it's noisy here on the bridge, a little noisy. I'll stop, or there's a plane or helicopter going over, like when I'm talking, and I joke about it. I don't stop recording either. I'm like you. I'll go, yeah. It wouldn't be my video if a helicopter didn't decide to fly over and want to deliver a pizza to someone on Palm Beach or whatever. You have a little fun with it. So
nice. Now, I know I said I didn't really want to talk too much about real estate, but because I have you on and you are from Florida, I wanted to talk about this article that showed up in my feed the other day. See if you are seeing the same thing as that we are seeing here and throughout Florida, which is Florida housing market facing widespread price decline. So I'm going to read a little bit of the article, and then you and I can kind of talk about it.
Absolutely.
Locals are priced out of Florida's housing market. Vacation homeowners have stopped buying. Investors have stopped buying, and inbound migration has dropped significantly. And sure enough, the market is now turning down. Home prices skyrocketed in Florida during the pandemic, more than in other parts of the country, as the inflow of people moving to the state, thanks to the possibility of working remotely, brought up demand amid a chronic lack of inventory. So that's kind of really what I want to talk about. That I didn't want to go to all the details of that article, but are you kind of seeing that same thing?
Yeah, it's definitely slow. It is slowed. We did lots of price drops on my listings because, some of them just, we priced it right and it still wasn't getting, and some we had sellers that were like adamant about, well, we really think, it's worth this. We want to try that. And then when it didn't get any bites or any showings, they realized, I said, yeah, that's not the market it was. People aren't buying as much. People aren't selling as much, and it's slower. So those who are buying kind of have the say of the show. They want to get what they want, and they'll walk if they don't. And they walked lots of times. They just know. So until you realize you put a number that they're willing to buy, and that's real estate. Sellers have to realize that, yes, at one point it was, you could ask any price you want and you got it. That is not the case anymore. It's back to more of a, if you got the right home, it's in super great condition, you'll probably get a good price for it. But you got to price it based on what the market is dictating, not the realtors. We tell people all the time, the market dictates the price. They're going to tell you what it's worth. And a house is only worth what someone's willing to pay. And if you think it's worth this, and every person coming in thinks it's here, here, and here, they're never come up to here. And that's not, that it doesn't matter what marketing you do in the world. Like, oh, you didn't market enough. Dude, I could have Ryan Seacrest stand here and go, hey, whatever. And I don't know why I thought that, but just, you're right. Yeah. But it doesn't matter if it's not priced right. Consumers are not going to, what consumer is going to want to overpay anymore? They've got buyer burnout.
They're not, for sure.
And so yes, I've seen the prices come down. I've seen the property sit on the market longer, and had many conversations. And the realtor's like, yeah, they found another property that was just better priced. And then you share that with them.
Yeah, we've seen that. I've got a couple of great listings, and I was 100% confident we priced them right where they should be. And I'm on multiple price adjustments, which for me is tough because I am not a price adjustment guy. I'm pricing it right. We're going to get some offers on it, and like crickets, like no offers. I pulled up the stats right before we jumped on to see the last 7 days. Now we're in a much smaller market, I believe, than you are. But we had 1,599 price adjustments in the last 7 days.
Wow. Well, there's a lot of factors to it that maybe not everyone gets the information like we do because we're in the industry, but you have a lot of things contributing to the factor of the slow market. One, interest rates are sitting at 7%. They didn't drop. The Fed lowered their rates. Everyone thought that because they lowered it, the mortgage rates, the banks would follow. They did a quick drop for a while. It was a tease, and they quickly went back up. So now you got the 7%, which people just don't want to deal with. Although I think they're just going to have to bite the bullet and realize that 7, maybe a high 6 is the new norm, whether you like it or not. That's what I'm seeing. Don't keep praying for a 5. I mean, we can pray, but you ain't going to get it, because I don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't hear the Fed. I don't hear anyone in the finance industry, and I'm not a finance major, but I don't hear anybody saying, yeah, give it a few months, we're going to go back to 5. No one's talking that. So 7 is the number that you're just going to either have to bite the bullet and buy what you can buy, or don't buy. And I think that's what we're seeing. They're not buying. Yeah. And then the other problem is we have everyone who's bought a house at 3% interest rates. They're not going to sell. Why in the right mind who in the right mind is going to sell a house that bought it at a low interest rate just to go buy a house with a 7%?
Yeah, I mean, you've heard that before too. It's right now. It's the people who have to.
Exactly. Right? The only ones who are the ones who have to.
Yeah.
And they're probably not happy about it. But yeah, so many. Even the article I read was saying that a lot of people are not, a huge percentage. Like I forgot what it was, but 25% or something like said they won't be selling their home. People, especially
50% of homeowners said they will not sell their house until interest rates gets in the 5. And just like you, I've heard maybe toward the end of the fourth quarter, they might drop to the high 5s. Maybe.
Wow. Yeah.
Maybe.
So you combine all that with all the other factors of things going on and stuff with interest, and just, it is what it is. I mean, I'm a realtor. I make a living helping people buy and sell homes, but you have to find the customer and figure out what works for them, and find the house that works for them, and try to work the best thing you can. And for you and I, a lot of times that means going through a lot of homes, because a lot of the homes may have 10, 15-year-old roofs. And if it has a roof if that roof has any doubt in my mind that they're going to get an insurance policy, I'll look at my buyers and go, let's just keep looking, because do you really want to spend the next 3 weeks only to find out that the insurance company won't write a binder on it, and then you can't get financing? Now you've wasted all that time.
Yeah, I know you've done a bunch of videos on that. That is a massive, massive, massive issue in the state of Florida.
Yeah, I would be lying if I didn't say I was a little nervous as a realtor, but we've been through real estate. We've been through changes. I've only been doing this since 2013, so I didn't go through 08, but people who did go through 08, they survived, they got back, they stuck with it. You just keep doing what you do. Like you said, there are people who have to move here. There's people who got job transfers. There's people who have babies and the house isn't going to work for them anymore. And they have to buy something. They just may have to buy something a little less. But keep in mind again that those buyers that are looking, they're going to be picky. And so if your house doesn't look good, smell good, priced right,
it's got to be top notch.
Yeah. So we talk about this a lot. I talked with a lot of people, and it is a fact of Florida real estate right now. It's interesting. It's interesting. Some people, they talk about how many people are leaving Florida, but what's funny is the silver tsunami of the retirees. They expect Florida's population to be 23.8 million by 2030, like going up, and a big portion of that are the boomers that are moving down. That are now coming down. Or the Gen Xers that are getting up in that age, I guess. And so it's boomers. So they're going to be coming down and retiring, and a lot of them want to move to our state because of the weather. And
I mean, it's Florida. People are always going to be coming, but it's going to be a select few. So with all those changes, you have any changes you're adding to your business? Any changes you're planning to your YouTube channel to kind of address kind of just what's happening?
No, I did a lot of videos last year about the condo crisis. What really set my channel off for me, that you guys know me, was I did a video about the condo crisis, and I was lucky. It was like hitting the lottery for a YouTuber. The video just hit a nerve with the world, and it went viral. It was like I just kind of went from, I had like 30,000. It hit, like, I remember watching it, and it hit like 30,000 views by lunch. I was at our holiday party when I was at Keller Williams before I went back to my brokerage, and I called my wife and said, "Man, we hit 30,000 views." And then I went and we had like lunch and some gift exchange. I went back and called her and said, "Honey, we just hit 50,000 views." And by the end of the day, it had 95,000 views in a day, and I about fell over, because anyone watching, Adam and I do this. We're not Mr. Beast. We're not used to seeing those kind of numbers. So you hit that. So I knew I'd hit something, and the video went to like 1.8 million views now, I think.
Wow.
And it just changed the channel. But I did a lot of those videos, and they were negative and sort of drama videos, we call them. focused a lot on HOAs and the insurance high rise. And, it was important. And I had a ton of people say, thank you for sharing the info. I had a couple of realtors say, why are you trying to ruin our industry? I said, I'm not. I'm being honest. I'm being honest because buyers from New York don't get the news about what's happening in Florida like we do. And a lot of them were quite shocked. And a lot of them thanked me for being an honest agent, even though they know it affected me financially.
For sure.
But the people, it was good for a while. I say the audience was different than what you and I typically are striving to get people who are interested. Like there was a lot of negative comments on there and a lot of people that just spewed a lot of negativity. And I kind of didn't like it. I'll still share the stuff that I think is important with people, but what I'm going to focus on is kind of what you're doing. I'm getting back to what people liked about my channel, showing the parks, showing what I like about Florida. Look, we know there's insurance problems. We know there's weather. It's Florida. It's been that way since the beginning of time. But people still move here, and they've been moving here since Henry Flagler brought the East Coast Railroad down, and everyone said, hey, let's go to Florida. We're going to winter in Florida. And I think they're going to continue to do it. And so my goal is just kind of make those videos that highlight why it's a great place. And then when someone reaches out to me, I'll do my best to help them find something that fits their budget and, go from there. I mean, if prices are coming down, maybe they have an opportunity as a buyer to take advantage of something. So
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Same way. So while I have somebody from the West Coast of Florida on there, you got any thoughts or reasons why somebody would move to the West Coast as opposed to the East Coast or vice versa?
Yeah, a lot of people like the West Coast. I mean, you're kind of funny. You said you're in a smaller market, but quite honestly, you guys have one of the your area there. What's technically your area? Is it Tampa or is it?
So I'm about an hour south of Tampa, about 20 miles inland from like Siesta Key and Anna Maria Island in that area.
Okay. All right. So your area down there has been one of the hottest markets in the Florida real estate market for years. Matter of fact, you tend to get more people from the Northeast moving there because prices were a little bit better than they were here on the East Coast, down in the Palm Beach County. We've always been kind of a little bit pricey on the East Coast, but so the West Coast is very desirable. I think what you need to watch for, and I'm wondering if you're feeling the same things. I had this question. I was a guest on Jackie Baker's website, YouTube, live stream. And we had a guest ask, what do you think about Austin's market? And I said, give it about 2 months. They were thinking about selling. I said, give it about 2 months and then take a look and start seeing what's going on in Austin. The California fires are going to drive so many people.
Sure.
So many people are going to move to Austin, Texas, and Dallas, Texas, and parts of Texas because they don't have the regulations and all the red tape to build a house that they do in California. A lot of that's going to overflow. Some people want to be near the water still, and I think they're going to look to places like the West Coast of Florida. Some may come to the East Coast of Florida, but I think a lot of people tend to that I-75 corridor, and the people from Texas and people from California will tend to look at the West Coast and look at those areas and maybe start looking at properties again. So again, that's just a theory that I have. I know that when people were leaving California, Texas got bombarded. We know that Jeremy Knight completely exploded his channel, his business. He just blew up there, and he's in Austin. And a lot of that was from people moving during COVID and picking Austin, plus all the tech companies are there. So I think as the prices drop, you're going to start seeing some cash buyers coming in from California. Maybe they get a settlement for those blessed enough to have a fire claim and have fire insurance. I feel so bad for those who got dropped. But they're going to get that wad of cash, and then they're going to be like, okay, we're done with this. I'm not going to wait 3 years for them to approve building my house again. That's garbage. Let's look at places like Florida. There's sun, there's the ocean. Being a guy who's been by the ocean, it's very attractive. And Texas has the Gulf, but it's not as nice as Florida. Yeah, it's not the same. So I think that's going to be something to watch. So much so that I'm probably going to be making some videos just to kind of highlight it. But I'm waiting because I don't want to be ambulance chaser, right? I don't want to be like that. Right. I'm just going to wait a while to just get that, but kind of make a decent video that says, hey, look, if you're thinking about Florida, here's some reasons why you might like it. Here's some similarities. Obviously, politically.
We saw that. We saw that after the Maui fires. There's actually a Facebook group called Hawaiians in Florida.
Wow.
Yeah. Even though technically the 9th island is Las Vegas, there are still a lot of Hawaiians moving to Florida for the same reason. Gotta have some motion.
Yeah. So so that's, I think that's, I think we'll see that, and it'd be interesting to see, because it's just something that I just, I have no data. This is just me assuming, if I was living somewhere, what would I do? And I would look, people like, okay, we're out of here. Think about us. We have hurricanes and people leave. Where do they go? They go to North Carolina and South Carolina. South Carolina was rated one of the number one had 50% of the moves were something like South Carolina is now took the number one spot.
Interesting.
Yeah. So a lot of people were moving to South Carolina. I'm a water guy, so although South Carolina and North Carolina, they have some beaches, but I like my warm water. I've dipped my toes in the California coast once, and I said, it's no way, man. That's
zero. Even in Southern California, where you would just assume it was hot, it's not.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, but yeah, I think you'll see look. The West Coast is a desirable area, especially for retirees. There's some great communities out there. I think the biggest challenge you guys have on the West Coast is we have more of like a sand dune. Like we have the beach, and then we have sand dunes.
Yeah.
Although there's homes right there that could get flooded with a surge. But then we have a break, because we have that island, we have that barrier island, and then we have the intracoastal.
Oh yeah.
Places like Sarasota didn't. They had the beach, right? Here's the beach, here's the road, here was the home. Came in and or Fort Myers just took it out. You would have so that's not going to happen here, because you have to go over the island, and then it would have to flood the intracoastal and then continue to come. I guess it could happen. If it did, that would be a huge storm, and well, we would all be in a lot of trouble. But I think, just like Andrew hit, people moved back to Florida years later, and I think you'll see people move back to Florida again. There'll be maybe cash buyers at first, and we know people from California moving to Florida. The prices are, $1 million in California doesn't get you a shack, right?
That gets you the land.
Yeah.
Especially the area that burned. I know that area. I live in that area. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're talking about movie stars and producers, pro athletes. Those were multi-million-dollar mansions.
Yeah.
By the way, I just talking about my condolences out to anyone out there. Now I know there's quite a lot of loss of life, and but I don't mean to make any lightness or anything of what's happening out there. It's absolutely horrible. I've seen what hurricanes do to people here in Florida, but hurricane might ruin your floor, your drywall, but you still have a building and you can rebuild. You don't rebuild after a fire.
No, like I said, right. We left right after the Maui fires, and it's just crushing, and then it just looks way too much like Maui just to see like.
And you can't you can't get rid of the smell. So like if your clothes got salt water, literally you could grab your clothes, whatever you can wash all that stuff, right? Salt water comes out of clothes and sand.
Yep.
You can't wash. It's almost impossible to get smoke.
Impossible.
Like that kind of smoke. It's just so really sad to see that. But
everything's gone. Yeah, it's tragic. We know friends, who a friend who lost everything on Maui and also had another home in Southern California and lost everything. It's just tragic, man. It is just tragic.
Just curious, from someone who was out in Hawaii, it's been a while now. Are they rebuilding?
That was one of the, so we knew we were moving before the fires, but we knew that it was going to take a tremendous amount of time. Like I think like California will be done, that area will be done long before Maui gets redone. Like I just saw something that said the first house just started to get built, because everything is slow on Maui. One, because it's an island, and two, because everything has to be shipped in, and there's not enough workers to build all that. Like if you pre-fire, if you wanted to build a house, you're talking about 18 months.
Wow.
For a house. Now, let alone an entire town.
Right.
So it is going to be it's going to be a long time.
Wow.
And that was like kind of like the hub of kind of walkability. It kind of reminds me of where you are, like Deerfield Beach, right? Like everything along the beach there. You have all the stores. That was kind of like what Lahaina was like, plus people living there. So it's not likely that they're going to build the whole downtown shopping area before they build all those houses.
Wow.
So it will be a long time. And I have real estate agent friends there now, and everything, it's a struggle.
Yeah. And, I imagine. It's a trickle down. Really affects a lot of people in a lot of ways. And
yeah,
it's generational. when that kind of
It is
thing.
generational. I mean, I just saw a video the other day that they finally, it's over years, almost a year and 4 months since the fire, are bringing in houses for people, like a modular houses,
Right, starting to live. Yeah.
because they need a place to live. I mean, they were basically taking up hotel rooms, basically taking Airbnbs, but there's not enough housing for the amount of people who live there, and there's certainly not enough housing for the locals and Hawaiians.
Right, because it's so expensive. I mean, that is anyone I've never been, but anyone knows Hawaiian real estate, any island real estate, and just everything, materials, like you said, it's triple the price because it has to be shipped in.
Everything's got to come in. Yeah, building at the time we were there was probably like $500 to $700 a square foot.
Wow.
Give it ballpark.
Wow.
Ballpark. Well, hey man, I appreciate you joining us. How can people get a hold of you?
They can go to my YouTube channel, which is just like it says, Palm Beaches Paul. That's the easiest way to reach me. And on that, you can reach out to me. I've got a phone number, email in the about section, the part that most of you guys don't want to read, but there's good information in there, links and stuff. So, we're just contact me there. And I got my phone number, and give me a call, watch a video. If you like something, say hi, and appreciate it.
Nice. Well, keep up the good work. I'm excited to see what you have going on the YouTube channel for 2025. And we'll see you around, Paul.
I want to see you grilling, man. I want to see you cook some steaks.
Coming soon.
Talk to a little bourbon, and good stuff.
I'm making my first brisket this weekend. Pretty excited about that.
Nice.
Never made one.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, man. And it's good to know you over there. Next time I do a road trip, I'll have to stop by and have a cocktail, and you guys can name one for the Palm Beach. Beach.
There you go.
Punch or something.
I'll call it the Palm Beaches Paul. We'll have to come out with something cool.
Thanks, Adam. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.